What is happening, people, and welcome to 2025, where we are starting the year strong because I'm just putting the finishing touches on my latest program that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. It's been a long time since I put out a program, so keep an eye out for that. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 10 most used squat variations. Now, these variations I did not put in any sort of order as far as like least helpful to best or anything like that, because I think they're all tools that can be used at different times for different purposes. Much like a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver is not superior to a flathead screwdriver. They are just two different tools that need to be used at different times to get the best results possible. And I would say the same thing is happening with all these variations. Now, before we even get into variations, I do need to say if you are not doing some sort of squatting on a regular basis with intensity in your programming, then you're absolutely leaving a lot there out on the table, because it's not only one of the best builders for your lower body, it also works your upper back, your posterior chain, your core, your entire body. So I would highly, highly recommend, if you are not doing it, then that should be what you start doing in 2025. On to the variations. Number one is going to be the front squat. Now, I know a lot of you out there choose not to utilize the front squat because you can't get into a good front rack position. However, I would highly encourage that you either use lifting straps to extend that flexibility, or use the bodybuilder style, or even the zombie squat technique, because these can do so much to help out your lifts. The strongest that I've ever been in my entire life was directly correlated with how strong my front squat is, because it doesn't only build up your lower body, it also crushes your posterior chain. It works your core probably harder than the back squat, and it can even help you push up numbers on exercises like the overhead press. So you cannot go wrong. And as Dan John famously said, if your bench press numbers are higher than your front squat numbers, then you probably need to rethink your training. Number two is the Zercher Squat. Now, I used to hate the Zercher Squat. I would never ever do it. However, once I did and started spending some real time training it, I realized how awesome of an exercise it actually is, and I truly do love it. I also think that it has the greatest functional carryover to every single day life out of any of the other squat variations that I'm gonna mention in this video. And it is also kind of a good way to mimic some of the movements like sandbag exercises or atlas stones. It doesn't really mimic the same movement pattern, things like that, but it can work a lot of the same muscles because you are working with the bar out in front. So if you do not have access to those things, or you don't have the real estate to do front carries and cool things like that, then this is a really good option for many of you. Number three is the Bulgarian split squat, which I know is an exercise that so many of you absolutely despise, but I truly love. There is rarely a week that goes by that I do not do some Bulgarian split squats. It's probably my favorite unilateral leg exercise, and I think they're amazing at building strength, working your butt, building your balance. They just do tremendous things, as well as giving your spine as well as your CNS a break from having heavy things on your back. You should definitely do more Bulgarian split squats. Number four is the pause squat, but internet, you actually need to pause to gain any benefit from this exercise. If you just blow through it, you might as well be doing a regular squat. And I know perception is not reality, and time goes a lot faster inside your head. So make sure that you come to a legitimate stop, hold the position, and then go. But if you do this correctly, it is my number one fix for people who have problems with positioning in the squat. It can also help you with the depth. It can help you with your brace if you end up losing air in the whole of the squat. This can help fix all those things. So the pause squat is truly an awesome variation that I use regularly, and it really does help me build confidence into going up and getting heavier and heavier squats. Number five are specialty bar squats. I know not everyone has the money or the means to play with these things, but we're talking about stuff like an SSB or a yoke bar or a cambered bar or a spider bar. Stuff like that can really do a lot to enhance your training, because it doesn't only work the weak points of your lift, it can also create a lot of variations that you can't do with just a normal barbell or dumbbells or anything else that you're gonna find in a normal commercial gym. It can also help you really work around a lot of injuries if you have some sort of shoulder problem, and it can also prevent a lot of injuries by taking a lot of the wear and tear off of your elbows, your wrists, because of where the handles are positioned. And it just is a lot easier and sometimes more enjoyable than just going in and doing the normal squat all the time. So if you do have access to specialty bars, I would highly encourage that you do utilize them. pretty regularly. Number 6 is going to be the sandbag squat or the goblet squat. Some sort of variation where you're holding an odd object out in front of you and then you are moving it through a longer range of motion than you normally would be able to with a barbell alone. These are absolutely amazing and should be utilized in a lot of different places throughout your programming, whether it be in conditioning sessions or in accessory sessions or as a primer for your main mover or in some sort of functional training, because they teach you how to move things that you would normally move in your everyday life. So I absolutely love them and I would highly recommend that you add them to your programming. Number 7 is going to be the pin squat. Now the pin squat is very similar to the pause squat, except you're actually going to bring the barbell down and rest it on top of pins before reapplying force. Now this is going to take away any stretch reflex, any rebound, any momentum, anything that is going to help you out. So it makes this extremely, extremely challenging, and it is a great way to build power out of the hole or in trouble areas throughout your squat, because you can set that pin height for different purposes. It can help you with your positioning, it can help you with your depth, it can help you with your lockout, all depending on where you choose to place those pins. So if you do have some sort of problem throughout your squat movement somewhere, this can be an awesome way to solve it. Number 8 is the front foot elevated split squat. Now this is the brother to the Bulgarian split squat, except it takes your front leg and drives your knee towards your toes, which is going to put an incredible amount of pressure and stress on your quads. So if your quads are one of your weak points in the squat, this is absolutely something that you're going to want to use, but you really need to make sure that that front leg is doing the majority of the work and the back leg is just kind of hanging along for the ride. It does take a little bit of time to get used to the movement, to really feel it where you're supposed to feel it. However, once you get it, this is an awesome, awesome movement. And I would highly encourage that you use it, because again, it does take stress off your spine and your CNS because you're not having a heavy bar on your back. Number 9 is the Cossack Squat. Now, I think this is an amazing variation because it is the only one that I'm mentioning in this list where you actually have to move laterally. Now, for most people, you're not going to do that with a barbell on your back because you don't possess the balance or flexibility. So you're going to be holding something out in front, very similar to the goblet squat or the sandbag squat. So I think these are terrific and you should absolutely start doing them. Now, it does take a while. Some people may not have the flexibility yet or the balance to do so. So you may need to hold on to an upright and just kind of start working the movement and working your mobility a little bit. But once you get it, it can do a lot to help you with all of your athletic endeavors, as well as keeping you safe and balanced as an athlete. Number 10 is the belt squat. Now, I think the belt squat is an amazing variation, especially for like high rep volume work or assistance or accessory stuff, because it is truly unique and it takes the weight off of your spine and places it around your hips. And if you've ever performed belt squat, you will know that it definitely hits your legs in a little bit different sort of way than a traditional squat tends to. However, most people do not have access to a belt squat machine, so what you have to do is set up boxes and put a chain around your waist and do stuff, which is exactly why I don't have a video of it right now on here for you guys, is because it was going to take too long to set up and do stuff. So it is an awesome variation and I would highly encourage that you do it. However, you might need some special equipment. Now, I know some people get those lever arms that you put on the upright of a rack. However, I have heard from a doctor, physical therapist, that those can actually hurt your knees pretty good. So he stays away from them and he's a dude I trust. So I have always stayed away from them. However, if you have experience with a lever belt squat situation and you have done it regularly, leave it in the comment section down below whether you recommend it or not, because I'm always open to hear other people's opinions. So let me know. But belt squat is awesome if you can get a hold of one. All right, so that is my 10. However, I do have 2 honorable mentions, being the box squat as well as the Hatfield squat. I think both are amazing variations for their own different reasons. I know some people absolutely hate or they absolutely love box squat, depending on who you are, and same with the Hatfield squat. I will say with the Hatfield squat, I personally find it extremely hard to not use my arms a little bit on the way up, even if I think that I'm not, I actually am. So I usually use them for Bulgarian split squats, for balance and things like that. But you gotta be careful not to be pulling yourself up. Anyway, those are my top 10 most used squat variations. So I hope as you head into 2025 and you're looking into your programming, these are squats that you will find in virtually every single one of my programs, and I would highly encourage you to throw them into your own programming because I do believe that these will get you the most bang for your buck. So I thank you guys so much for absolutely everything. I'm excited for 2025 and all it's going to bring. We have a lot of things going on the channel that are going to be coming up that we've been working on behind the scenes. So hopefully everyone's going to reap some benefit of that. And like I said, my latest program is getting ready to drop, so keep an eye out there. Until then, I thank you guys for all the support, all the ways you do everything for me, for the channel, the likes, the subscribes, the buying the programs, the coaching calls. I've met some amazing people over this holiday break, just doing coaching calls with people. So it's been absolutely incredible. And thank you to each and every single one of you that I got to speak to. And if you do want to speak to me, then just shoot me an email at neversate@gmail.com and we will set up a time. So I thank you so much. I will catch up with you later in the week. Until I do go out something amazing with you guys, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'll see you then.